there have been a lot of accusations of him cheating. I think some of the other players that were at the European Championships recorded some videos. I'll put links to that in the video, and so I'm not really sure what to think. I've seen the videos. He is shuffling sort of oddly, but I definitely don't think Konami's going to do anything about it. There's really not enough evidence for them to even step in. And I've heard that Vittorio Wiktor, no offense to him, is sort of a jerk. I don't know if those stories are true or not, but I think a lot of it could be sort of his mind game. Like, if he's sort of trying to psych you out if he's being a jerk to you. But no, I don't know. There's also the possibility that he's actually just a kind of asshole. But yeah, I'm really not sure what to think about the cheating rumors. I think it's definitely possible. I think there are a lot of top players that unfortunately do cheat, and I don't know if he's one of them, and I think we'll find out, but I wouldn't expect him to get banned for any of this. Yeah, unfortunately, I think a lot of the players are sort of just calling him out because of what they've heard, or and not actually seen him cheat. But then again, I don't know. It's very possible that it is cheat, so I don't want to count that out, but I also don't want to sort of unfairly persecute him for something when there's not really that much evidence. So the other SynchroCat build that I sort of want to compare and contrast a little bit is Charles Easton, and his build was, I don't know, quite a bit different. He mained Gold Sarcophagus while Vittorio didn't, and he also mained a lineup of 3 Bottomless Trap Hole and a few other traps like Crush Card Virus, while Vittorio, like I said, was running the 3 Threatening Roar. So I think a lot of that has to do with the metagame. Like I was saying, Vittorio probably thought there were going to be a lot of players trying to OTK. That's why he ran the Roars. And Charles Easton, I don't think, was as concerned with that because he ran the Bottomless. Possibly it could be like because Canada, I know Canada has a lot of smart players, they could realize that the deck needs to change and focus more OTK, or more controlling version, and less focused on the OTK. So Charles could have realized that, and that's why he chose not to main Roars. His build, yeah, he also only mained 2 Mind Control, which I like better than 3, because I think 3 will just give you dead draws. And he also made Book of Moon, so maybe I'm wrong, and Book of Moon is definitely the way to go, but I'm still not sure, so. He mained Sea Koala when Vittorio didn't. Vittorio mained Neospatian Dark Panther and the 2 Raikos, as I said. And Charles' lineup was this Sea Koala, 1 Dark Panther, and that's all for the other beasts. And so I think 3 beasts is a better lineup than 2 from the little bit of testing that I've done. Or no, sorry. Charles Easton also mained a Raiko. So the only difference there was that Easton mained a Sea Koala over a Raiko. And I'm a pretty big fan of Sea Koala. I think there are some people online who aren't as much, but I think that it can create advantage swings pretty easily, and especially if you're going for a more controlling version, then Sea Koala opens direct shots for your Herbellum, which is great. Getting free discards from their hand is always good. Yeah, I like Easton's build a lot better. It seems less focused on the OTK. Like Cyber Valley in Vittorio's deck seems like he's just going to draw a bunch of cards and try to OTK them, which doesn't work if they have Roar, and I don't think is... if he draws bad with Cyber Valley, I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of it. Easton also mained 2 Gravekeeper's Guards and no Spies, which was sort of a bold pick. Guard is a really good card on its own. It's also really good as Spy, but if they mind control your Spy, then that really hurts, and against Cat Synchro, that can often lead to them OTKing you. So he mained the Guards instead, so that doesn't hurt as much if they mind control it, especially if it's your only monster, then it doesn't do anything. But he still maintains the access to level 7s and Arcanite Magician. And there's a really strong play. If you Cold Wave turn 1 and set Guard, that's almost, or just as good in some ways as setting Spy. So he maintains that strength without the sort of riskiness of them mind controlling his spies. So I don't know. I think I would probably still main spies. If you're, a lot of times you can sort of play around their mind control and set cards and sort of bait them into mind controlling. And I think the advantage that spies give, obviously it's a +1 and gives you another blocker, and it's a very consistent card. So I think spy is still worth maining, but I guess neither of these players did. So again, I could be wrong. I don't claim to be an expert on Cat Synchro or the game in general, but I don't know. I still would probably main spies. Charles did side spies, so he probably brought them in against decks that he didn't think were maining mind control. So that's a good strategy too, but I just think they're worth it to put it in the main. And I don't like Charles's side of Thunder King Ryo. He sided 3 of those. I don't really understand what he's going to bring them in against, because all of these sort of 4 decks or 5 decks, I guess, with Gladiators that I've mentioned have like numerous cards to kill Ryo, and it's really not going to stop them that much. So I just really don't think it was that strong of a pick, and I don't know if he sided in a lot or a little, but yeah, I probably would not main it or side it if I was going to Nationals. One thing to note is that neither of these players mained Solemn Judgment or sided it, which is an interesting pick, and I think it was a good one. Even though I've been sort of preaching the controlling builds of SynchroCat, that doesn't mean necessarily need Solemn. Every deck does not need Solemn. SynchroCat can cold wave a lot, so I don't know if Solemn is as necessary, and it can sort of, if you like play one Rescue Cat and then set up a good field, then they counter it, and then you can counter with your own Summoner Monk. Like, whereas in some decks, if you play out your hand and then you want to protect it with Solemns, SynchroCat can just like push twice and then kill their monsters, and I think that strategy works better for SynchroCat than trying to protect all their monsters with Solemns. So I do think that no Solemns is the way to go with this deck. And another sort of tidbit was Easton did not main Allure of Darkness, which is still sort of up in the air for me and probably for a lot of players at Nationals. Vittorio did main it. I think that Allure is a really, really good card, but for some reason when I was using SynchroCat, Allure just ended up being sort of dead, and I just found it to not be that good. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, to be honest. I can't figure out why, but I stopped maining Allures, and I guess Charles Easton figured that out too, so I'm going to agree with his pick for that. So that sort of wraps it up. Both of these players had pretty solid sides to deal with anything.
So that's the end of this first blog, and I'd just like to give a shout out to all my friends who are going to Nationals, CJ Lack, Paul Clark, Joe Girolando. Hope you guys do well, and I hope everyone from Dual Scrounds does well also. And just watch your stuff, watch your opponent, don't get your stuff stolen, don't get cheated. Alright, this has been a good first post. I hope you guys look forward to